it's Bryce. Jason's close, but it's Bryce. So I want to go over signs or symptoms of OSDD-1b, and not like ones you'd find on WebMD, but just a few that made figuring out that we had OSDD-1b easier. So the first one is, let's say that you already have these like moods that you're thinking might be distinct personalities, but you're not sure. So if you have these little like moods, how do you differentiate just being in different moods sometimes versus different personalities? For me, what really helped was realizing that my moods had preferences. So for instance, Jason loves the color red, and he loves like early 2000s emo rock music. Why? I don't know. He also has a much different sense of like fashion. So when we were trying to figure out, okay, are these actually separate people really? The idea that our angry mood had very specific preferences on even like what to eat made it a lot easier to be like, okay, I think this actually might be a distinct personality and not just like a facet of my emotional spectrum. So that's one question you can ask is, do the different moods I have different preferences? Like a personality would, you know? And I'm not saying that when you're not in different moods that you don't have different preferences. You do. But like really stark, big preferences that are consistent all the time, you know? Like clearly I like listening to more angry music when I'm angry. But it's not a whole shift of like all of my preferences all at once. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, can you recognize like these different moods that you have in pictures? So this one might be a little bit harder, but if you can go back through like your camera roll and be like, oh, I know what mood I was in right then, or oh, this is this me. Well, it might just be that you're taking pictures of different people. Like me and Jason have very different ways we like to stand, very different ways we like to look, very different ways that we like to pose. And it's not hard, at least like 60-70% of the time, to figure out who a picture is of. It's just not. It might be a little bit harder with like less practice, but even people who don't know us very well will look at a picture and be like, that's Jason. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely Jason. So can you do that? Can you go through your pictures, even if you're not sure like who each picture is? Can you sort your pictures into like, this clearly seems to be of one type of mood or personality, and this clearly seems to be another type of mood or personality? Yeah, that's, again, none of these are like, you know, hard and fast signs you have OSDD, but they are nice little guideposts for, you know, just, there's something extra to go on that maybe WebMD won't give you, you know what I mean? And then lastly, the biggest thing I think for us figuring it out was just simply, does it make you healthier when you live like you have multiple personalities? We not clearly I guess, but we started this at home and like in private before we started doing it around other people. But even when we first started living as a system, it's not because we thought we had OSDD at all. It's because basically we were trying to rule it out, and one of the ways we were going to rule it out was by acting it out and then being like, this just doesn't feel normal, it's making me less healthy. That's not what happened. The more that we lived in the reality of it, the healthier we got, the more everything made sense. So like, if you're at home and you're alone, try giving into it and just being like, if you're in a mood that you think might be a personality, if you have a name for it, even if you don't, just be like, okay, I'm a new personality today, or this hour, and do the things that that personality seems to like. Ooh, sorry. I had too much soda. Do the things that that personality would like to do and see where that takes you. And quite frankly, diagnosis or no diagnosis, whether this is like a trauma-created system or not, if that makes you healthier to live that way, live that way. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't even care, like, if you're a traumagenic system or not. If it's healthier for you to live as multiple personalities, do it. If it makes you happier, do it. I'm not saying it's not scary and it's not, like, a fucking cumbersome way to live, because it is. But I can guarantee if you're like scared of trying it, especially out in like the big real world, it's not as bad as it seems at all. And no one, at least no one that matters, is gonna be upset with you for just trying to be healthy. Even if, you know, a year or two later you're like, so that definitely wasn't going on, but I'm glad I tried to figure it out. Who cares? Then you figured it out and you're not in this like fucking limbo for years of do I have this or do I not? So those are my 3, right? 1, do your moods have preferences? 2, can you sort people out through pictures? And 3, does it make you feel better to live as if you had multiple personalities? Because if it does, I mean, what else is there? You know what I mean? We're just all trying to be happy and healthy. I don't think at that point, and like, I'm probably in a minority in this, but I don't think at that point a diagnosis matters at all. Like, I don't care what you have going on in your brain. If living as multiple people makes you happy and healthy and better to other people, who cares? So that's it. That's the 3. I hope it's at least like a little bit helpful. I'm gonna vape and then I'm gonna head out. I love you all very much.